good buddies, what's up? Welcome into the Good Buddies Anime Podcast. I am your good buddy Roger.
And I am your good buddy Brandon.
And this week, aside from Brandon singing, we are reviewing...
You're cutting that out.
No, I don't know. It might be in there a little bit.
Oh, no.
We're reviewing that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah, we are.
And from this point forward, I will probably just call it slime.
Slime.
The slime anime.
Let me tell you about slime. Slime.
It's some slimy shit, dude.
Yeah. like me some slime, you know what I'm saying?
So this anime ran across 2 seasons. This is the longest anime we've done
so far
today on the podcast and the review. And also, hey, happy 50th episode to the Good Buddies.
Oh,
that's a big 5-0, dude.
We made it, dude.
Yeah, we made it.
We made it. We're officially over the hill.
Yep.
It's all downhill from here.
But
and I'll see you in hell.
Let's hop straight into this review. Let's go through this episode.
Well, I mean, first of all, Roger, how's this work?
Well, what we're gonna do is we have a little chart of a bunch of different little titles that an anime can get, and it is informed by another scale. Now, on that chart, Brandon, do you want to read through the stuff? And I'll give you the call back.
Okay. Well, Roger, if you watched UNM and then it was just straight up garbage, what would you call that?
I would call it an anime, maybe not.
What if it was, not great, but it was okay?
Anime.
What if it pretty average? It was fine.
That's an anime, maybe.
What if, it's actually pretty freaking good?
Hey, Animos, definitely.
But if it was amazing, Roger, if it was so good...
That is full-on animazing.
Indeed. And the way we're going to arrive at one of those final scores, which this is a review of recommendation, we should point out. It's not necessarily, did we love it, did we hate it? It's just like, one, did we love it, did we hate it? But also, would we tell other people to check it out?
I think sometimes our own personal opinion can... go beyond what we actually give this score to. This is just how well we recommend it.
Is that what happens sometimes, Roger?
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes.
But the way we're going to get there is we're going to give it a total of possible 10 stars, 5 categories, 2 stars each. That's how math works, with those categories being Roger, the first category.
The story and setting.
Second.
The characters and development.
And another 2 stars for
the art and animation.
And a possible 2 stars for
the soundtrack.
And finally, that Good Buddies Wriggle Room, that Je ne sais quoi. Roger, what does that mean?
I don't know what.
But that's what that's how we're gonna do it. So let's jump on into it. Do you want to give us the quick pitch, or you want me to take it? How you want to do it?
I can give us a quick pitch here.
Give me the quick pitch there, big boy.
we got our main character. The first episode, this isn't really spoiler because this happens right at the freaking beginning.
It's like a pre-stinger, you could call it.
Yeah. His name is Satoru Mikami.
Mm-hmm.
And he, right out the gate, is stabbed right in the gut. He's going out with some friends, and he gets stabbed on the street.
Straight up murdered.
Yeah.
By someone with apparently no motive, just running around with a knife. He's like,
just charging.
I feel like murdering somebody today, and he did.
Charging with a knife. Yeah. And there's like ample time to see this guy really charging with a knife.
Well, he was going after his friend, and he pushed him out of the way because he's a fucking hero. He straight up Urameshi'd that shit. Jumped for the kid in the street, and boom, there he went.
Yep.
So he freaking does. Here's the thing about this show. First of all, there is a bit before that where you see a clip of a young girl. It looks like some kind of war thing. You find out a bit about it later, but this place is being bombed. It's like clearly in the past. Correct. And there's a big fire tornado, and she disappears.
Mm-hmm. Gets straight toasted.
And then we see our boy... Satoru Mikami, who gets straight up murdered, and as he's dying...
In Japan, on the streets of Tokyo, I believe.
The streets of Tokyo, the mean streets of Tokyo, where people run around with knives. It was so bonkers just to watch.
And it's not even like it's like a freaking army knife or something.
It's like huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it's a Bowie knife.
It's like, where'd you even get that, bud?
So he gets stabbed to death, and as he is dying...
As he's dying, he's thinking to himself how bad this is, and then like a computer voice is taking what he says and making things.
Yeah.
Oh, this blood, it's so hot. I hate that it's hot.
Fire resistance. Yeah.
Oh, but I feel so cold. I hate being cold.
Ice resistance.
I can't believe I never even boned anyone. If I come back, I'm gonna fuck everyone I see.
Special skill predator.
That's the one that got me. Can't do that shit.
So yeah, as he's dying, he's talking about how he's feeling and then regrets that he has, and every single thing that's going through his mind as he's lying there bleeding out is registering through this mechanical sounding voice.
It is building his character.
Mm-hmm.
And the big ones he ends up with that I remember are heat resistance, cold resistance, slashing, and damage in general resistance, which all of which heat and cold combine into elemental resistance in general, and then all of that combines into just damage resistance overall.
Right.
And if you were gonna be a creature in an RPG-ass isekai game type world, and you were resistant to pretty much all damages, you're a slime.
Yep, you're a freaking slime.
Makes a lot of sense.
So he gets reincarnated
as a slime.
In
what? That's the name of the show,
God
Roger.
damn it, sure is. So the voice that he's hearing, this mechanical
the Great
sounding
Sage.
voice, is the Great Sage.
Which
It's
basically
his,
makes you God.
Yeah, it's like his, what is that, a bestiary? Or something like that?
Like a bestiary?
Yeah,
bestiary. Yeah, sure. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like a scouter / internal monologue / console commands /
You're gonna recognize it. I mean, if you've ever played a game by Square, this anime is very it feels very Square.
It literally has the scan / oh, what did they call it in some of the later games? There was another word for it besides scan. I don't remember, but there's
appraisal,
something
maybe.
like that.
But you it actually, if anything, it falls really close to the Dragon Quest games. There's even a direct quote from one of the Dragon Quest games in there.
There's actually a lot of references to a lot of different media and whatnot in the show. But yes, there is a direct quote from Dragon Quest when he's meeting some people at one point. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm not a bad slime." It's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
it's really great.
You know, like if you play any of the Square Enix RPGs or anything, it's kind of Star Ocean-esque, minus the Space Odyssey part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an isekai anime.
Yeah,
it's an isekai. This dude straight up gets reincarnated into this fantasy world, which is inhabited by orcs and dragons and goblins and talking wolves and shit.
Yep.
It's really great. The world overall is pretty fun. You want to just get into the story and setting at this point?
Yeah, let's go to the
story
story
and setting.
There. Yeah.
I feel like we're there. So, let me just say, I haven't had a lot of experience with isekai animes. This is the first one I feel comfortable saying this is a straight up isekai anime, and I'm watching it and I'm in there. I've watched other ones that I've been told are isekai animes, and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. But this one, straight up, no doubt, that's what it is. And boy, oh boy, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a fun world. It's interesting. And apparently one of the tropes of these types of shows is the person who we're following, the main character, is usually very overpowered. Yeah, no shit. This guy's basically God.
Yeah, he's really strong.
Which is not to say, so story and setting wise, the world they're in is very fascinating. If you like your Final Fantasies, if you like your Dungeon Dragons, if you like any kind of fantasy world, you know, you could throw a Lord of the Rings in there. You're gonna see a lot of similar stuff. There's elves and there's orcs and whatnot. So in terms of the world and whatnot, if you played any of your fantasy games, you Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings and whatnot, it's kind of par for the course. Basically, you got your elves, you got your orcs, you got your kingdoms and whatnot, lots of swords and stuff. It's a good time. In terms of the story of it, I mean, we pretty much already broke it down. This guy becomes a slime, is going through this world, making his way downtown, walking fast, faces past, he's homebound, and he's just trying to basically just live at this point. Yeah, great job. He's also, since he's a slime, he may or may not be effectively immortal, because apparently, like, I can't imagine. I mean, he's like a jellyfish, right? They'll just live forever if you don't fuck with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what we got going on here. Basically, the dude is crazy OP, and I will say that, like, for me, a thing in here was I never once feared for his safety.
Nope. And what's cool about this anime too is it kind of, and some other ones where they're really OP. It's in, like, you know, it's all seriousness. This one is kind of,
it's goofy and it's fun. So it's like, I don't really care that he's stupid OP. I'm just having fun watching it happen. Yeah. So, and that's the cool thing about it. And, like, I won't say that the stakes aren't high, because the stakes do get increasingly higher. The thing is, it doesn't matter how high the stakes are. If you're basically God, you can handle it.
Now, so, I feel like towards the end, we did get a couple characters introduced, like, hey, they might be stronger.
Oh, yeah. There's at least one that, like, for sure, no doubt, would whip his sorry ass. It's pretty wild. But, yeah, it gets
at least
really
gives
rough.
the illusion later on that there might be a struggle.
Yeah.
But for setting us up in this first 24 episodes, He's strong as hell.
Yeah,
and,
outrageously so.
But he's also super likable. Everybody freaking likes him.
Well, that's the other thing. That's like another way of being OP because he doesn't really have enemies. I hate this slime. Well, let me talk to you for a minute. I love this slime.
Yep.
That's literally how it goes
slime.
every time. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, it's fine. It's just a goofy, fun show that has some. Yeah. I mean, there are moments that get kind of serious. But nothing so like, dark or brooding or anything. It's just a happy show. It's a fun show. Yep. I think it's really good if you want to just put it on and, smile. Anything else to say about story?
Nope. I think that's about it. It's an RPG, isekai. Yeah. And the dude's a time. It's great. Let's get into some characters because there are a lot of freaking characters.
So many.
And what I like about this show though is that even though we've only reviewed anime that are, in 12 episode segments, 12 to 13, this one went 23 for the full series.
Yeah, there was like an extra episode and then like a recap episode at the end.
But in that amount of time, if you were to scale it, this one still does such a good job at introducing a metric shit ton of characters. And you get a feeling for almost all of them.
Yeah, none of them really felt like straight up filler, except, well, I could argue one or two. But for the most part, they all had their own little, they have their own personalities. Yeah. I know who they are. I have a good feel for them.
And he, the main character, Rimuru, runs in a pack.
That's what his name is when he becomes a slime. Yeah. He ends up getting a name from a big-ass dragon. A big-ass tsundere dragon. A big-ass tsundere dragon who's like trapped in a cave.
Tempest is the dragon's name.
Oh my god. That dragon's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
Because there's like a bit where he's like, well, I'm just trapped in here and I'm a big old dragon. He's like, oh, I guess I'll be going. Well, it's not like I wanted to hang out and talk or anything.
I've only been in here for 300 years. It's whatever.
It's fine if you want to go. It's like, okay, you don't have to be all hot and cold about it. We can chill.
So the first creature that we meet is Veldor, the Tempest, the big dragon.
Big ass dragon.
And they name each other.
Yeah.
And
as it turns out, that's the thing in this world is that if you give someone a name, you are imparting power upon them.
Yep, it's the level up or evolution, however you want to look
much like
at it.
In a video game, if you're running around and you fight a goblin, it'll say, I'm a goblin. But if you run into Jimmy, the Grand Goblin Hunter, then he's going to be tougher and stronger.
His name, yep.
He's got a name, he's tougher. And that's just what the world builds off of. It's pretty cool. Rimuru ends up running into some people, naming them and passing the fuck out because it's in fact very strenuous if you do it enough. And he wakes up and they're all giant and buff. It's really great. And they're like, yeah, you're super rad. We love you, dude. Because everyone loves him. He's a fucking slime. It's a fun show.
So he names his whole village. There's an initial altercation, between the goblins and dire wolves. And once that is settled, the village starts to grow.
In a big way. It ends up becoming a whole city. We don't want to go too far in it, but yeah.
So we'll hit some more of the characters. We talked about Rimuru. He's our main character. He's our slime. Mm-hmm. He's OP, and he's the leader of this village after he helps during the situation with the goblins and direwolves. Veldor is, of course, a dragon. The next character that I would say is probably the most important is Shizue Izawa.
Shizu ends up being very huge. You don't really run into her until a few, 4 or 5 episodes in.
Yeah,
and she ends up being a huge part of it. And she's great.
Yeah, you actually get a little scene earlier of him knowing that his destiny is to meet this person.
Yes. He is shown in a crystal ball thing, oh, this person with this mask, and then he runs into her. He's like, oh fuck.
Yep. So, and she is in fact the this is a little spoilery, but
a little spoilery. Skip ahead 30 seconds.
Yeah, she is in fact the child that you saw at the very beginning in the Tokyo bombing.
You find out that he is not the only person who is not from this world.
Yeah.
Who was from another world. And apparently there's multiple ways to get there. Yeah. Sometimes it's when you die, you're reincarnated in this world. Other times,
which is far more rare, and the more common way is the way that she was brought in. She was summoned.
Yes, by either a very powerful person, or there was one. There's a clip where they're talking about how it normally normally takes like 30 mages, like so many days of magic and summoning to actually get someone in, and it's very difficult to do. Or if you are summoned by someone who's just incredibly powerful.
Right. So we'll go through some of Rimuru's allies here. There's Rigurd. He is a
big old goblin.
Yeah, he is at first a very old, feeble, shaky goblin.
And then he becomes Goblin Daddy.
Once he gets the name Rigurd, he is huge and buff and still kind of old, and he's kind of the chief of the village.
Yeah, he's old and he's got gray hair, but he's also huge and buff, and he's just Goblin Daddy. Ooh, Goblin Daddy.
Then there's his son Rigurd, who wears a bandana and is often with the dire wolves, doing hunts and stuff like that, patrolling.
Oh, pretty cool.
And then
everyone's favorite.
One of the main goblin riders here is Gobta.
Gobta, who didn't change all that much. He still looks like a little big-headed, big-nosed goblin.
To say, hey, he actually didn't change very much.
But he's so cool, and he's so fun, and he's a little badass.
Yeah, he's freaking great.
And he whoop a little ass.
Yeah. Next, we have the wolf that you've undoubtedly seen if you've seen any promotional art or thing for the show. You see the slime, and usually the slime is on top of Ranga.
Ranga, who's a big-ass star wolf with a unicorn star wolf.
Yeah, he evolves from a dire wolf into a star wolf, into a unicorn star wolf. And
Jesus Christ, the levels.
He just keeps moving forward from there. But
just a real badass.
He is pretty much Rimuru's right hand.
Yeah.
Always there by his side or in his shadow.
Now, Roger, I love you. Are we gonna go through all the fucking characters?
We're gonna go through just the main his main core.
Okay.
So we have the Kajin, who is the blacksmith in the village. You get some pretty cool story stuff with him. Garm, Mird, and Dord are his younger brothers.
One of them doesn't talk. He's just like,
There's often humor with Mird, I believe, is the one that doesn't speak. Benimaru, he is an ogre prince.
Yeah, the ogres are really great.
Yeah, and
one of them just becomes Hufflepuff. She does nothing.
Yeah, and they're pretty much his buff. They're his eyes and ears and his muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So of them, there's Benimaru, Shuna, Shion, Sue.
There's a lot of these.
There's tons of them. Geld is a
lizard folk?
Orc.
Oh, he's the orc. Oh, right. Geld was the orc. Sorry.
So yeah, you're gonna run into a whole lot of characters here, and I will probably for this segment I'll probably just have a big shot of everybody, the whole cast.
There's a lot of folks.
There is. I mean, I can go on looking at the names that I have down here. Beyond Geld, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
It just keeps
14.
going. It just keeps going.
It just keeps going on.
There's
and
a
on.
lot. It's a very
lot
fun
of characters.
show. They introduce a lot of people.
Yeah, and what is crazy about it is that
you get a pretty good feel for all of them.
Yeah, you get a pretty good feel for all of them.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's very fun. Yep. But I think that's a good touch on the characters.
Sure.
You want to go into that art and animation?
Let's talk about it.
Okay. I think that the art and animation of this show is pleasant to look at. I didn't notice anything offsetting.
Yeah.
However, it is pretty much just anime.
Yeah, there's nothing like really.
That's the best way I can put it. It's just anime.
It's fine. It's fairly average, I would say.
It had a budget. They used that budget and they produced a very solid, pleasing product.
I will say that like just the character designs and stuff, I was really into some of them, particularly the way that like despite being just a slime who has these little like closed sleepy looking eyes that aren't actually eyes, they're just lines on his face, they managed to make him pretty expressive. Like there's bits where something will surprise him and like he'll have these big rings on his face and like a little exclamation point will pop up on his head.
Yeah.
Like to show he's surprised or questioning something. It's a question mark. He's like, huh? What's going on? It's really cute how they managed to make this little goo ball so expressive.
Yeah.
One thing that did bum me out, I mentioned to you earlier, is how you will have these characters and they look like this. The Bidimar and all them, what were they, ogres?
Yes.
The ogres and stuff, they look like some straight up like half monster humanoid creatures. Like they got horns, they're all wild looking, man. They look rad. They got like little plates on their arms and shit, like scales and stuff a little bit. And then they get names and they evolve. And now they just look like regular ass people with a horn.
They go from orcs to Kijin.
Yes, and now they just look like regular ass people with a horn. And it's like, okay, fine.
They still look cool though.
They still look pretty cool.
They still look
but
cool.
there are bits of that get particular that I was like, okay, well, come on, why though? Paco's going nuts.
Yep.
The big one for me was there's a couple of lizard folk that
The lizards, I will say that these lizards are my freaking favorite.
The lizards are pretty cool. So Dude Lizard gets a name. He's a way cooler looking dude. Looks like a straight up dragonborn or something with wings and everything. Lady Lizard gets a name, just a human. Just looks like a human.
Sure.
Is a more powerful lizard person, just straight up went from being a pretty cool lizard with like, now granted this was a lizard with hair and boobs, but also like had a like long ass lizard note and scales and everything and looked like a lizard. Like that's a cool design. Now you just look like a person.
Yeah, with wings.
And I was like, well,
and a tail, I think.
Okay.
Which is you know, like I get the criticism. I didn't think about it at all, really. But I mean, I understand.
That one in particular got me because it was like it's that old thing where like if you play like Warcraft or something, it's like the orcs, they're like huge buff dudes and they're so massive, they're crazy looking because they're so much bigger than everybody. What do the lady orcs look like? They're green ladies.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And maybe, you know, this show is so tongue-in-cheek with some of the stuff. Maybe that was the point.
I feel like maybe that is, but also,
yeah,
I mean, it's not like you're really making a point if you do the same shit, you know? You're not really making a point if you just do the same shit, but whatever. It was fun. It was fun. It's cute. It's a cute show. It's fun.
Overall, though, yeah, the animation is perfectly
adequate.
It's adequate. Yeah, it's pleasing to look at.
It's just fine.
Let's go on to the soundtrack now.
Oh yeah.
The first thing I mentioned is that there are 2 different openings and 2 different endings across this. Every single one of them is very average. It is just fun. It's like, you know, like if you've heard an anime opening or ending that sounded like another anime opening or ending, you've heard these songs. There was nothing really special about them. They're not bad or anything, you know, they're not offensive to hear, but it didn't do it for me. And even, you know, there's a lot of good music inside the show. There's like little flutes and all sorts of stuff that you would probably hear in an RPG. But it was nothing that I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Yeah. I think the soundtrack is kind of where the show falls to its lowest point. However, you know, it's not that it's bad. It's just not groundbreaking there. Yeah,
I mean, I've rather enjoyed the openings. I thought they were really fun, particularly the second one with that little piano with the do 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 like that stuff. That was pretty fun. But yeah, and then I think episode 23, which for all intents and purposes the finale of the season, then there's like an extra episode.
You get something really good in that episode.
The ending of that one was quite fun. It had a really good. It had a different song.
It was like an A and B.
Yeah. It basically was, and it did have a different song playing that was it was pretty beautiful.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah, there were. I mean, I wouldn't say there was anything really wrong or offensive with the music. It was fine.
Yeah, and at this point, I'll just go ahead and mention that I did check out the dub and sub of both. I checked them out both, and I quite liked both of them. I thought they were both really good. The dub is.
I watched a little bit of
if you're not expecting something super serious, because I don't think this show is supposed to be taken super serious.
No, of course not.
You get a really funny, lighthearted dub here, and I thought it was overall good. I like the voices. One of those damn lizards, I showed Brandon. I had to show Brandon. One of those damn lizards is like the same voice as Agumon or Dusty Gozangas.
If you've watched Aqua Teen.
It is his little right-hand man lizard, the one that's always sticking up for him.
Is that Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Oh god, it's so
like that's what it sounds like.
Maru.
He does kind of sound like that.
It's fucking hilarious, and it cracked a smile across my face.
You were saying like you're not sure how the dub's gonna age.
I don't know how it's gonna age because Rimuru says "my dude" or "my guy" every other second.
First of all, that's never gonna get old. I love my dude. My guy.
I love it too. I just don't know like if it's.
There is a bit where he did like a sparring thing, and at the end of it, he's like, "Well, as you can see, I'm swole." It's like,
yeah, I'm swole,
dude. Come on.
And it's just sprinkled. You know, it feels very like. Oh, this was written in 2018.
Yeah, no shit.
And I don't know if that'll hold up. I liked it. I thought
if this was like 2005, he'd be like, that was tight, huh? Like
it's certainly wording that you're not gonna find in the translation in the sub.
Yeah, certainly.
So I mean that's something to note. If you're very much a purist and you're not into that kind of that sort of thing, then the dub might not be for you. But I thought it was fun.
It was cute.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cute. But yeah, anything left on the soundtrack?
Not really, man.
All right. You want to tell me about some of that Je ne sais quoi, dude?
Honestly, I mean, it was pretty fun. It was hard to put down. It was one that, like, I started watching kind of on a whim. Right at the end of the first, toward the end of the first season, I jumped it, started checking it out, and I'm really glad I did. It was, it's easy to slam through because it's just so. I mean, it feels like there's a lot happening, and yet it manages to get you through it pretty quickly. There are bits, I will say, that like really feels like particularly toward the end, there's a couple moments I can remember very vividly that I was like, all right, well, that was something that like they just skipped a whole like volume of the manga or whatever. I don't know. One of which I'm like, okay, I know there's gonna be an OVA. That's probably gonna be the OVA. But yeah, there's bits where like he just has a new power that he got, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the thing I learned from so and so. It's like, okay, I didn't see that shit happen, but all right, cool. You just have that now. It just turns out when it seems like no one else can beat this thing, and then you just manage to kill it in one shit, and he's like, oh yeah, I got that power from what do you call it? Neat. I put these two powers together and made this. All right, fine, I believe you. It's like fine. Yeah. Again, it's like the kind of thing that if it were trying to be more serious, if it wasn't so lighthearted and just a fun show, then I would be like, no, I feel like no. I feel like that doesn't work. But with this, because it's just so goofy fun and it's just designed to make me smile, and it did make me smile, I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I would concur with you, dude. I don't feel like this show ever really drug its feet or anything like that. I felt like every one of the episodes was paced really well, and even some of the episodes I was like, damn, that's over already?
Yeah, no kidding. There was so much build up for like one fight in particular, and it was like an episode, and I was like, oh, okay. Neat. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it makes sense and it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun is the best way to put it. Let's hop into those scores, dude.
Let's talk about it, man. How do you feel about that story and setting?
I gave it a 1.5.
I also gave it a 1.5.
All right.
How about them characters in development?
I gave that a full 2.
I gave it a 1.5.
Okay.
I went 1.5 on that one. How about that art and animation?
I gave it a 1.5.
I went 1. It was fairly average, I thought. How about that music/soundtrack?
I gave it a 1.
I went a 1.5. I really did like a couple of the openings.
We flip-flopped there.
Yeah. And that je ne sais quoi.
That je ne sais quoi, dude. I gave it the full 2.
I gave it 1.5.
I would certainly recommend this to people.
Yeah, I think I would too. If you just want like something goofy and fun to like check out and watch, I went a 1.5 on that one.
Yeah, so that totals me up to an 8, and you can't be too far behind.
I'm at a 7.
A 7. Yeah. Nice. So
right on your heels.
Both of them falls right into an Animos, definitely.
Yeah.
Mine is a little higher than Brandon's, but
either way, I think it's something that you could easily recommend to someone if they just, if you're not too serious, kind of goofy. You get a little bit of fan service of the titty jiggles. I'm gonna say there's one character that just really needs to put on some fucking pants, but it's fine.
Nah.
You're a monster. You're a bad person.
The show is really fun, and I definitely would recommend it to anybody. Am I gonna tell them that it's my favorite anime ever? No.
Certainly not.
But, will I tell them that I really enjoyed it? Would I watch it again? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It's fine.
I don't think I'll have to because they put out that nice little refresher episode.
Yeah, no kidding.
So in 2020, when season 2 is here, you just hit that baby up and you're right back in.
Yeah, dude. That's how they wrote it.
So I'm stoked about it. I'm excited. I thought this show was really good.
It was cute. And it was fun, and I'm into it.
Yeah. So next week, the time is here.
Oh no, it's happening.
These winter anime are all finishing up, and we are talking about The Promised Neverland.
Oh,
finally.
God. We've already talked about it quite a bit if you've been listening to the rambles. If you have not, well, get ready to hear us talk about this one. Fair warning, it's going to be really hard to talk about without getting a little bit spoilery.
So next week, we'll probably say at the top of the episode, hey, there might be a couple of spoilers here. We're going to do our very best to keep it at a minimum. But at least the first episode, you're probably not safe with that one.
Here's what I would definitely say is that, I'll tell you right now, I feel like, without giving away a straight up score or anything, we're both recommending this show to you.
Yeah.
So please watch it. And then you won't have to worry about spoilers next week.
And then you can hop into the review and see what we thought there. And then
tell us what you
thought. The ramble where we go into it further, as I'm sure we'll have plenty of theories and stuff to talk about this one. So yeah, Promise Neverland next week. It's going to be a ton of fun. Please tune in, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. Please leave us a star recommendation, whatever it is, if you're on iTunes
Smash
or whatever.
that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button. Help us out. Leave us a comment below. Leave us some questions. We love to answer questions. We actually have a question from a good buddy coming up in the ramble right after this, which is an episode that comes out immediately after, the day after the review goes up. And if you're watching or listening on iTunes or whatever, you get it all in that one go. But
You're just gonna hear it every time.
yep. You take it easy, good buddies, and
Love ya.
We'll see you in the ramble, and if not, we'll see you next week's review. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.